Hello everyone. Today I want to talk about UNIDROIT and what their purpose is, why they exist, and why we need to get out of this as fast as possible. Okay, so what is UNIDROIT? It's the International Institute for the Unification of Private Law. Now, if you actually want to know what that means, it's the unification of private contract law. So all of the maritime systems that I've been explaining in my other videos are made by these guys. Now, purpose. The International Institute for the Unification of Private Law, UNIDROIT, is an independent intergovernmental organization with its seat in the Villa Aldobrandini in Rome. Its purpose is to study needs and methods for modernizing, harmonizing, and coordinating private and, in particular, commercial law as between states and groups of states, and to formulate uniform law instruments, principles, and rules to achieve those objectives. Now, when they're talking about commercial law, again, contract law, it has to do with corporations. That's it. So, it was set up in 1926 as an auxiliary organ of the League of Nations. The Institute, this by the way is basically the United Nations. What happened with the United Nations? The Institute was, following the demise of the League, re-established in 1940 on the basis of a multilateral agreement, the UNIDROIT Statute. Okay. Villa Aldobrandini. We're going to be talking about this and why this family is very important. Okay. Now, as you very well know, these are the members, and that's us, Bulgaria. We've been members since 1940, June 22nd, and they keep the documentations in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of the Republic of Bulgaria. Now, when we're members of this, they're basically our government, UNIDROIT. That's who's actually pulling the strings. These guys are the ones that write out the laws. If you actually seriously think that voting or any of these political parties, which are corporate bodies, I've explained it before, do anything here, and if you think you're going to make change here using these institutions and political parties and politicians, you're very sadly mistaken. That's not how it works. We don't live in that kind of world. Take the veil off your eyes, please. It's time. Because we don't have any time left. We have to do something. Okay. The Ministry of Foreign Affairs of the Republic of Bulgaria. Why is this important? Well, I actually think that this is where possibly the birth certificates that have been changed and that they make two accounts, the creditor and the debtor account, it goes through this. And that's what I think. But that's just my opinion for now. They also keep it in the Embassy of the Republic of Bulgaria, which is registered in Dun & Bradstreet. And the depository library for UNIDROIT documentation is in the Bulgarian National Library, Sv. Kirill and Sv. Methodis. Okay. One more thing I want to show you. Look who's also a member. The Vatican. Yeah. Interesting. Okay. Let's keep going. This is the statute, if anyone wants to read it. I think they have it in Russian for some of the people here that might be able to speak Russian. But you can read it in English. You can get it off their website. It explains all of their articles, everything. Okay, this is a very important part of why UNIDROIT is the central mode of control on the planet. They are basically the New World Order. The second any of these countries become part of UNIDROIT, they are part of the New World Order. Not that they're not anyway. I mean, this whole planet is under their control, but, or planet, land, whatever. This is a very important section, though, because you can use this against them due to the fact that it explains the manner of formation of a contract. So when you're making a contract with, let's say, a cop, and they give you an offer for a contract, meaning they're like, oh, I want to see your ID, your license, right? You don't need a license, you're alive. This is how they've written out what makes a contract. Like, what forms it? What is contractually binding? Offer and acceptance. The basic principles is the idea that the agreement of the parties is in itself sufficient to conclude a contract. So if you're both agreeing, if you give them the ID, and if you open the letters from the banks, and if you go and vote for these absolute criminals that are not even based in this territory here on the land, they are foreign occupying powers, that's sufficient enough to conclude the contract. Okay, conduct sufficient to show agreement. They tell you. I suggest everyone go and read this, translate this for yourself, because I can't go through all of it. It is a lot. But this is very important, because an offer is terminated when a rejection reaches the offer. So if you tell these corporations to basically screw off and tell them, I do not have a contract with you, that is more than enough for them to have a problem. They won't be able to charge you, in my opinion, because how would they if you're not under their jurisdiction, their corporate jurisdiction, if you know how to read your name? You should watch the other videos to understand what I'm talking about. But this is what's going on. Okay, let's keep going. Another institution that's very important, in my opinion. Again, this is all my opinion, because what do I know? I'm just a dumb kid. Is the International Development Law Organization, or IDLO. Now, they're basically an organ that's, in my opinion, connected to UNIDROIT. They work with the UN, although UNIDROIT, in my opinion, is above these guys. UNIDROIT is the head dog. They control the World Health Organization. They control the UN. They control the Council on Foreign Relations. They are the controlling power of the planet. Okay. So, if we look at IDOL, Bulgaria has been a member state for a while now. Let's look it up. Member parties. Okay. Member parties, Bulgaria, 1996. Now, why don't we check their registration? Because they are an organization, of course. All the legal laws are corporate laws, which means that they're contractual laws. The law is the contract, and the contract is the law. That's how it works. This is their registration in Dun & Bradstreet. And, oh wow, look at that. The Vatican. Why am I not surprised? What a massive surprise, guys. Okay, let's keep going. Everyone should do research on this. As I was explaining before, all of our ministries and our institutions, the ones that pretend to be governing bodies or some kind of power, to have some kind of power over us, are registered in Dun & Bradstreet, which means they're companies. It would be the same as saying, I don't know, Kaufland or IKEA goes into one of these buildings, like where you find the Council of Ministers, and they start telling you what to do. Except what these guys did is this. Okay, you can't read this, right? Because it's dog Latin. Remember? Where'd it go? Dog Latin. See? It's sign language. But what they've done is they've taken the original name, they've made a company, and they've placed themselves in the building where the original assembly was supposed to be. And they're pretending to be some kind of power. But they're in fact just a company. That's all. Okay. These are all of the other institutions that are registered in Dun & Bradstreet, Bulgarian institutions, and how much money they make. Also, all of the municipalities and the districts are registered in Dun & Bradstreet, but for the entire country. I need you to understand that. It's not just this. I'll actually show you guys. It is all of them. Oops. See? Municipality. Silista. This is the oblast. Oblast in Bulgarian. All of them are registered. Every single one in Bulgaria. Which means that they're all corporate. No jurisdiction. They are coming and they're literally stealing from you. They are pirates, guys. They are pirates. Ministry of Interior. Okay, I want to specifically talk about this because this is how UNIDROIT controls everything. They have their own private military, basically. A global military, because every single government meaning ship, remember that from the past videos, and the military connected to that government is under UNIDROIT control. Okay, so our Ministry of Interior, which is the police here, is part of Dun & Bradstreet. I'm going to talk about this in a little bit, but Dun & Bradstreet is registered in England, which is very serious because England is part of UNIDROIT. So is technically the City of London, because England has sovereignty over the City of London, even though they pretend not to. They do. Okay, so because Dun & Bradstreet is registered in the City of London, our police is basically masquerading as a foreign military power because they're considered a paramilitary. That's what's going on here. They are a paramilitary organization. They're wearing Bulgarian uniforms, but they're working for another country, or another company in this case. Did you see what's going on? Yeah, that is what's considered a war crime, guys. If we look up the Rome Statute, International Criminal Court, this is for war crimes. You'll find it in here. They're committing war crimes, crimes against humanity, Article 8, because they're masquerading as police of this land, or peace officers, although they completely say they're police. But they're actually registered as commercial entities in another country, corporation, quasi-country, quasi-government. Okay. The European Union, or the European Commission. Ursula von der Leyen. Registered. Dun & Bradstreet. All corporations, guys. U.S. Securities and Exchanges Commission. Why is this important? Well, as we know, Dun & Bradstreet's also registered in the Securities and Exchanges Commission, but I want to show you specifically something else. Remember this? Yeah. U.S. Securities and Exchanges. Registered in Dun & Bradstreet. Registered in England. Which means that it is under Crown copyright. All of our letters that we use are under Crown copyright. They're the word marks specifically. I'm sorry. These. Where did they go? Remember? It's a pictogram. It's pictures that look like letters, but they're copyrighted. They're technically what's considered a word mark. See? This is a word mark. It's a presumption of text. You think you can read it, but it's actually patented. It's copyrighted. And what it's copyrighted under is the Crown. But since... Where is it? Since these guys are in UNIDROIT, this is who's controlling everything. UNIDROIT. Okay. So the Securities and Exchanges Commission is registered in Dun & Bradstreet. So is the World Health Organization. Okay? Right there's a second registration for that. So is the United States Senate, which is kind of, it's funny. It's industry, Congress, federal government, registered in Dun & Bradstreet. Well, who's controlling the United States, guys? I can tell you it's none of the guys that you see on TV. Okay. The Federal Reserve Bank of New York. So the Federal Reserve is registered in Dun & Bradstreet. Okay? So this means that the Rothschilds are actually controlling this bank. Remember Dun & Bradstreet, where it's registered? The City of London is also registered here. These guys registered themselves in the City of London. Okay. Here it is. This is Dun & Bradstreet's registration in the Securities and Exchanges Commission. Bulgaria. The Federal Reserve. There you go, 33 Liberty. 33. This is Dun & Bradstreet's. The City of London. I'm still doing research on this, but the European Union is the European Union Limited Company. It's really strange because apparently they only have £1 worth of revenue, which is total BS. It's a lie. Bullshit. But this lady here, Antonia DeSantis, is in charge of this company apparently since 1992. I'm still doing research on that. Now, an important part we have to look at: Londinium, Roman ruins. Hidden amidst the streets of London, you'll find the ancient ruins of the Roman Empire. Rome. That formed the foundation of what the City of London is today. Well, yeah, it's in the City of London. Yeah. And these are the ruins of the Temple of Mithras. Yeah, well, let's look at who Mithras is. Mithras is a Roman mystery religion centered, so the cult of Mithras was a Roman mystery religion centered at the god Mithras, although inspired by Iranian worship of the Zoroastrian divinity Mithra. This is actually draconian stuff. They're Dracos, reptilian. But if you do research on the Rothschilds, that own the City of London, they own the bank there, and all of the corporations, you'll notice that they come from a line of Zoroastrian descent. Yeah, all of these guys in Rome, all these families actually come from the east, Assyria, and Assyria, they're controlling the system through Zoroastrianism. Okay, let's keep going. Aldobrandini family, I've talked about them before. residents in Rome with close ties to the Vatican. Well, they don't have close ties. They control the Vatican. They control the Vatican like they're former countries, papal states, the Vatican. And right there, where was it? Oh, they married into the Rothschild family. See that? Prince Aldobrandini, a leading member of the Sio distant black nobility, who in turn was the younger brother of then Prince Borghese and head of the family, Princess Olympia Anna Brandini, also a non-linear descendant of Napoleon on her mother's side, married into the Rothschild family. Okay. Now, I was talking about word marks, but I want to specifically show you one little thing. Okay, the Orsini family. If you look up Aleister Crowley, you'll know what this means. Let's go down. These guys are one of the main families that control everything. But Pepe Orsini of the Roman Maximus clan, he is the Grey Pope and is the king of the Holy Roman Papal bloodlines. And above the Rothschilds and Rockefellers, but in line or equal stature to the Berkshire, Aldobrandini, and other papal bloodlines, Knights of Malta. Tom Cruise donates to these organizations. We all know that they're part of this. This guy is very important, the Orsinis. But they are connected to the Aldobrandinis, who are one of the main bloodlines of these Illuminati, Satanist, Luciferians, crazy people. Okay, now, the other actual organizations that control UNIDROIT are the Trilateral Commission, which I want to specifically show. Everyone should do research. This is very, very long to talk about. There's a lot of information, but everyone should do research on the Trilateral Commission. I want to show one specific person that pertains to us. This guy. He's a member. Chief Executive Officer of International Markets of KBC Group, and member of Group Executive Committee in charge for business units Bulgaria, Hungary, Slovakia, Ireland, and KBC Group Asset Management Sofia. So, our politicians are getting their marching orders from people like this guy who go to these meetings and are part of these commissions. And they listen to people like him. He's the one that's getting the marching orders and telling them to all the rest of the people. This is my opinion. So, let's keep going. Another New World Order organization is the Club of Rome. This is part of the Committee of 300. So is the Trilateral Commission. And I just wanted to show you some of their members. Specifically one to think, so you guys can understand that they're all in on it. There's no one that's exempt from this system. Where was it? Look who it is. Yeah, of course. Why do you think he was so, involved in the 90s with all that stuff that was happening here in the Eastern Bloc? By the way, they're all part of the World Economic Forum. The World Economic Forum is just a puppet show. What's actually going on is being controlled here. She's crazy. Do some research on her. The Chatham House, another institution, which is the Chatham House, the Royal Institute of International Affairs. These guys, we have representative members in Bulgaria that are part of this. Let's try to find it actually right now. The house. Okay. City of London. Major corporate member of the Chatham House. City of London. All of the banks, of course. NGO. Okay, here we go. This is where we are. Embassy of the Republic of Bulgaria. Okay? We're all tied up in this stuff. We have to get out. And in my opinion, the only way to get out of this is through UNIDROIT and through these Chapter 2, Section 1 contract formations. Okay. The Council on Foreign Relations, another body, these guys, that controls everyone. But these are our members that are part of the European Council on Foreign Relations. In my opinion, this European Council is just one step down, just a little bit. I'm pretty sure it's part of the Council on Foreign Relations. But these are the guys that are also getting their marching orders. I'm not going to read their names. Okay. But I wanted to explain specifically about this. Where was it? The word mark. You have to understand that when you accept these word marks, this stuff that is on your ID, as I said before, this is copyrighted. Okay? This is under Crown copyright. You're patented, guys. Like, they own your name. They're committing an act of treason by doing this. But they're only committing it once you accept. If you do not accept the contract, that's when they start committing the acts of treason, because they're forcing you to accept these contracts and these legal fiction names, things that are not real, but or not true, but assumed to be true. It's quite serious. Yeah, they're a foreign occupying power. They're a foreign military, and the police is also a paramilitary, basically, acting on behalf of another corporation in another land. You know, it's crazy, but that's what's going on, and they've been committing these acts of treason since you know, like before Roman times, during probably even before Egypt. It's been going on for a very long time. I'm pretty sure this started back in Atlantis, this whole problem, but that's just me. But the word mark is what they're using. It's probably the closest thing to what can explain the text that's being used. It is something that looks like text, but it's a pictogram. It's a picture, guys. That's been patented. All of these symbols are pictures, and you think you can read them, but you're just presuming something is there. It's like an interpretation, you know? If you're looking at, I don't know, this Satanist, you know, you're looking at this or this, you can interpret this in a million different ways, you know, but he owns the copyright to this because he painted it and he created the symbols. And what their interpretation is the one that counts, because you're in their jurisdiction. You're under their copyright when you accept their symbols. When you accept, where was it? Their pictograms. See? Pictogram letters. And there you go. Okay? Please wake up, guys. We don't have time. There is a way to get out of this, and that is using your Christian name. This name. Sorry, not that. This name. Spelled correctly. You can attach the surname, which is the Goyim name, but it needs to be separate from the Christian name. I'll make a video explaining this in detail, but I just wanted to talk about the word marks and UNIDROIT. Okay.